get such a mood. Give me sunshine, crystal ocean views, sand in my toes.
I'm going to be teaching you how to harmonize vocals. That is how to come up with vocal harmonies for your songs. Coming right up. So in all these vocal tutorials that I've done, I always talk about how to mix the harmony, where to record the stacks, how to record the stacks, but I've always been asked, how do I come up with the harmonies to begin with? I am someone who learned by ear. I learned to play, I learned to sing, I learned everything about music by ear. So I'm gonna be teaching you the way that I come up with harmonies based off of my own method from someone who is self-taught, but they still understand music theory. All right, so I'm gonna play for you the section that we're going to be trying to come up with harmonies with, so you can kind of get an idea, where to place the harmonies, because that's gonna be one thing that you wanna decide first. Where do you wanna put the harmony? And that kind of depends on what's going on with the instrumentation of the song and the vocals.
Give me sunshine, crystal ocean views.
So that's the chorus of this song, and by the way, this is actually a song that's going to be coming out on September 17th by Kelly Dante. I produced the song and I obviously mixed it as well, so be sure to go check the link in the description to save it to your Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. It's gonna be really dope. But so as you can tell, it's just one vocal and the instrumentation is kind of busy. It's got some arpeggiated synths, some regular synths, a lot of drumming going on, and then the vocal is just kind of by itself doing its own thing, but it's got its vocal processing. However, it's not full enough, and so we want to kind of help it out, to make this chorus as big as it needs to be. So you'll see in some songs, your song might be different, but in some songs, there's like little spaces and blank sections where you can actually fill in with some harmonies, whether that's oohs or you're saying something. You can choose to do that, or if you don't have those kinds of breaks to record something to fill in those blank spaces, you can also just record harmonies over what you're already saying and just choose certain words or the whole line if you want to. In this case, we're going to fill in the blanks. So first I'll play this vocal and I'll tell you which parts we're going to harmonize.
Breeze in my hair, I get such a mood.
2, 3, 4.
Give me sunshine,
2, 3, 4.
crystal ocean views.
So those blank sections there where I was snapping is what I'm trying to fill in. So I'm going to end up basically recording harmonies on the phrase that comes just before that pause. So kind of an example of the rhythm and what I want to fill in is it's gonna sound like this.
Send my hair out,
Such a mood.
Give me sunshine, crystal ocean views, sand in.
So you see, I'm using the notes that I'm singing to harmonize to fill in those blanks and kind of make the chorus sound more legato. So we already have the melody here. It's give me sunshine. Golly. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're in the correct key. You know the key of the song. You could throw your music into a website like tunebat.com/analyzer. However, this is not the right key. So do this at your own risk. This is what you get when you do free stuff. However, Mixed in Key does have a really good plugin that'll tell you the key of your song as well. We can go ahead and go to YouTube or your app or whatever it is, and you can see the scale, E minor scale. We just click on one that looks pretty short and they'll play through every single note in the E minor scale for you. So as it stands, we already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 notes that we can possibly use, because we know that these notes are in the scale of E minor, which is the scale and key that our song is in. So we're going to pay attention to what the music is doing. What is the chord progressions of the music at this point in time that we want to add these harmonies? First chord. The thing about this chord is every single note in this chord is in our scale. So any of these notes we can test out, just try and see if it matches the part that we want to play here. So I just went ahead and came up with a natural harmony that came to me, which was following the chord progression of the music. So as it goes, such a mood, So I'm actually hitting one of the notes that's in this chord I'm playing. Such a mood. All three of these notes are in the scale of E minor. So as long as you stick to the notes that are in the scale of the key of the song you're in, then you should be fine. However, I know there's more to it than that. You have to come up with harmonies that match that particular note at that particular point in the song. But this is something that kind of, if you don't already know or you're not taking lessons for, you know, you're not going to school for it, if you're trying to learn it on your own, it's something that comes with time and practice. You would have to just literally go in there and try things until you realize that's not quite working or that's not quite what I'm hearing. It's not matching this particular song. So for this, I just did such a mood, which is in our scale, and the melody note kind of that we're going for. It's like in the mid-range right there where people who are singing along can easily access the note, whether it's a guy or a girl. That's usually what I start with. A note that is very central to everyone to singing, very melodic, if you will. It's such a mood. Now notice that that's what she's singing right there. At first it might sound like it's clashing, but since it's in different octaves, that's our first harmony right there. Since we now know the such a mood, for the rest of this particular harmony in this range, we stick to that range and close to those notes because this is all going to be one register here. This is all going to be our soprano note or alto note, tenor note, whichever note it is for you that you start with. It's gonna all be in that same range. So you don't have to go such a mood and think, oh, what am I gonna do for the next harmony? Is it gonna be way down here? No, because that's a tenor range. That's a lower register. So for the next note, just stick with the same register and come up with the next part. What sounds natural after this such a mood?
Give me sunshine.
Give me sunshine. Meanwhile, the music. Give me sunshine. So you hear how her vocal shine, and then the music is going down with her vocal sunshine. So since the music is going down, her vocal is going down, our harmony has to also match that. Things moving in harmony, and they don't always have to move at the same time, you know, or in the same intervals. However, when you're first starting out, you want to keep the intervals, which is the space between two notes, the same. That's the easiest way to make a harmony. So that was our first note. And then, like I said, the music goes down and her vocal goes down too. This is our second, like real progression. And then her vocal is going, give me sunshine. Her vocal is singing a note that's in this chord, shine. The bass note is just, she's singing way up here, shine. We're gonna go up and then down, sunshine. So we're kind of once again matching what the music is doing. We're gonna go sunshine. I'll play it again. Sunshine. Because we're still in that range. We're still in that same range. And then we're just gonna repeat it again. Ocean views. On this next part. Ocean views. Right here with her vocal.
Crystal ocean views.
Now the second one is going to be on the sunshine, where we start to build these harmonies even more. And how do you come up with a second harmony to what you already have, which is what I want you to do in trying to come up with the next harmony. Once you establish the first one, the melody, as long as you know the scale, E minor, choose any one of those notes and see if it matches with the sun, just the sun part, sun. So what kind of matches with that? That also goes with the music. So we do want to still go up and then down again. We can go sunshine, right? Let's try it. Sunshine. So it goes up, goes down, and it matches. So that actually would work if we wanted to. However, if we go just a note higher, so in our scale, that's what it starts with. That's the next note up in the scale of E minor. And our note that we're singing already, sun, we just went to the second note in the scale. Now you see, if we sing this note as the first note and then go down to the sunshine, this actually, to me, feels like a better match for this particular harmony. That actually sounds really perfect. So that's what I ended up doing.
Give me sunshine.
Okay, so since naturally I don't have a very high register voice, I used to. My voice used to be in the rafters, boy. So now I'm kind of like more of a mid-range king, you know what I'm saying? So instead of going up to the next octave or the next note up and, you know, higher in the register, I chose to go with a note that was lower. This one, right? So I can go sunshine or something like that, right? Sunshine. Because we still want to go something that goes up and then back down. However, since we already have one of our notes is being sung already in this part. So this is kind of like another process I go through because I just literally play around with random combinations of notes in a scale until I find combinations that are not already singing notes that I already have recorded. So we tried sunshine. We tried sunshine. Let's try sun. If we start with that note, which is also in our scale, and it's lower than this is our first note, sunshine. This is our second note, sunshine. Then our third note, sun. You hear, this is a perfect chord. But not only is it a perfect chord, if we play this with our music, this is literally the same notes that our music is playing. I ended up recording that for the third harmonic part. But I kind of made it a little fancy because when I record these parts, one thing that I learned in high school, in choir class, choral ensemble, which was the highest of choral classes where you learn the best of choir and reading notes and how different parts harmonize together. Sometimes you don't want everything to just do the same sunshine or ba ba, where it's just the two notes. Sometimes you want to have a part in there that's doing a little bit of movement. When you introduce a little bit of movement into your harmony, I would usually go with like a few stacks that do the same thing and then one stack that moves. So I'm going to go sunshine. That's the base of my melody for this particular note. Sunshine. I'm going to go sunshine, sunshine. So it kind of introduces a little bit of movement and also it lets me hit that note, which is what I'm already hitting, but I'm coming back up. So it's kind of throwing a little curveball in there. You go sunshine, ocean view. All right, that's perfect. And then ocean view is literally the same as what we had before, but since now we're adding two different harmonies, we already have the ocean view. Now we have to come up with our second tier harmony, which is the higher one that we started with here. Once again, stick with the same range. Sunshine. Stick in that same vocal register. Sunshine, sunshine, ocean view. It went back up. We're going to do the same here. Sunshine, ocean view. Ocean view. We're going to stay down there. Ocean views. That part always moves. I like to make one part that moves. When I make one part move, I make that part be the moving part for every time a harmony comes. I don't like to switch it out into different notes that we're singing. So this lower register is going to be the moving part every single time. Basically 3 of the first 4 notes that are in our scale I'm singing for the lower note. So that's how easy it is. Now, there are going to be times where some of the harmonies that you might come up with by accident or even on purpose, they don't sound like they match. They, you know, especially when you play them just with one other note in the harmony. It's like, oh, there's a clash. Like that kind of stuff. However, when you play this in a whole chord, for instance. So for instance, if I play these two notes, which are in our scale, yes. It's like, oh, that's not gonna make a good chord. Never in a million years, right? Wrong. This could make a great chord. And actually, I can show you. It doesn't sound good when it's just by itself. But sometimes when you mistakenly add those notes, or if you have something that's like, oh, that's sour, play it with everything else and see if it does match in the grand scheme. Every time when you have these you're playing or recording notes one at a time, it's not always going to sound like peaches and cream. It's not always going to sound like it flows. But I don't want you to get so caught up in trying to find stuff that's like so obscure. If you're a beginner, just stick to what's easy. And then as you get more trained in your ear and what you recognize is good sound, and you start to learn the sound of scales and majors versus minors and all sevenths and all that crazy stuff, until you get there, just stick to the simple stuff. But once you get to the more advanced things, that's where you can come up with these types of harmonies. Because the last harmony that I have is a little bit, it's obscure. It's one that kind of like just slides in at every single crevice that needs a little filler note. I like to do my filler notes last because you could just kind of pick and choose where you want to slide your, you know, the note in. So two notes, the whole chord. So don't worry about those notes, man. Sunshine, ocean view. All within our scale. Ocean view, sunshine. Now let's play it all together.
Give me sunshine, crystal ocean views. My hair out against such a moon. Give me sunshine, crystal ocean views, sand in my toes.
Now, this is a very ambitious way to approach doing harmonies. I will tell you that now. If you're not someone who is trained by ear, if you're not someone who knows much about music theory when it comes to the sound of it, this will take some time to get used to. You may or may not need to go, you know, take a class to study, to learn what different notes are, or just practice as much as humanly possible. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube that'll teach you scales and different things like that. I tried to explain this in the best way that I could. I know it's probably not the easiest thing to understand, and the words or the way that I explained it might be jumping around a little bit, but I'm here to help, so if you need help, just let me know. But this is how to come up with harmonies. Once again, Bondi Blue coming out September 17th, 2021. Stay tuned for the next video where I will show you how to mix these harmonies that you just came up with. I love you. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, set them to all, not personalized, so you'll get notified every time I upload a brand new video. As always, stay legendary. And that's it. All right.